What's going on, everyone? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics. And this is the type of video I don't like making. So I had someone reach out to me just through email. They messaged me about something that they saw that they thought looked strange, and they thought I might be interested in looking into it because I tend to like trying to dig into these little puzzles and things that we find out there. And this is a fake CGC slab. So I've heard of them being out there before. I've heard of them with, I think there was like a Hulk one that was going around a couple years ago that somebody had faked. But that's the only one that really sticks in my mind. There might have been a couple other ones out there that there were too. If you are into Pokemon, you know that fake PSA slabs are definitely a thing that is out there. And they absolutely use the serial numbers for that card so that if you go and at least look up that serial number, you'll think, oh, yeah, it's legit, all this kind of stuff. So that kind of thing happens. So let's start getting into this book, how you can identify that this is a fake, just some things that you can do to try to protect yourself. So the good thing about fakes like this, and it keeps switching, the screen that you see here. So this is a CGC 9.6 Iron Man and Submariner #1. This is on this Shop Goodwill site. And if we look at the, like, we'll go to the kind of this one here. And if you see a lot of slabs, if you look at a lot of comics, this right away should jump out as something is wrong with this picture. The first thing that really jumped out to me was the grade. That 9.6 does not look right. The font does not look right. And so immediately I'm just like, that is not real. But then there's other things that you might look for that should make you question it. Fonts and spacing in general are the big things that will help you when you are trying to identify a fake. That's the way that people do it with the PSA card slabs. And it's the same way, hopefully, unless they get stuff to match perfectly, the same way we can try to find that stuff here. So a few things. The first one is that this book looks so white, like super, super white. So the other thing you'd be like, oh man, like this book feels like it was maybe like cleaned, if anything, but it's just like, it's a fake book. Like that's the thing. It's like, it's a fake book, but that should throw you off right away. Is like just the book itself doesn't look quite right. Then you've got, like I said, the 9.6 up here is just wrong. There's just something about it where the font just looks a little bit off and it doesn't look like an actual 9.6. Then you've got this little barcode and the cert number that's in the center. It looks like the magazine barcode insert number. It's like it's too small. Everything is just like a little bit too small. The hologram in the corner just nothing looks right there. And then when you look at the back, I'll go to the back cover. So when you look at the back here, this doesn't look right over here where you have the little the QR code that you can scan. Just the label and everything doesn't feel right. The case itself almost looks like it's a CBCS case, like one of the newer ones, the way that they look with these kind of like rounded corners and everything. It feels almost like a CBCS case with a CGC magazine label shrunk down and put into this, into this thing. So there's a number of things that should, you should be able to catch on this. But I know that's the tough part here, is that the reason people buy graded books is because they don't want to have to deal with this. They don't want to have to try to sniff out some type of scam. But clearly there's at least this one, this book that is out there. I will probably right after I film this, we'll send them an email and let them know that this book is definitely a fake. But there's some other things that you can do to try to identify that this is a fake. So the first thing that you would do is you would look at the cert number. And so they've got the cert number here, 41092000003. So the good thing, one of the things that CGC changed about a year or two ago, maybe a year and a half ago, is they started taking pictures of all the books that they're grading. Now, this cert number is a little too old to have a picture. You start to see the pictures at either like 4.3. The first two numbers are 4.3 or 4.4. Somewhere in that range, you'll start seeing pictures. But if we jump over to CGC, And you do the cert lookup, there's that cert number, and you can see that there is no picture here, unfortunately. So the good thing about those pictures is they let you do a direct comparison. You can easily compare books, and you can usually then find that, oh, this flaw doesn't match with whatever's there, and you can do that type of check. So this one, we don't have a picture. So there's nothing here that necessarily helps us. GPA, we can look at GPA, but they don't have pictures. You can see this book. It sold in 2022. Here's the same cert number. Sold for $3,800, December 1st, 2022. It may have sold some other time. I don't know, but that's that cert number. But the one that really helps, and this is why, like, I tell people, you want to have as many of these sources of information as possible, and they really aren't that expensive. It's worthwhile to spend the $10, $20 a month, whatever it is, for these different services. And so I have GPA. I also have Go Collect. And Go Collect, when we had that scam that happened, what is it now? A little over a year ago, like December of 2023, pretty soon after that. And that was the CGC scam where the person was swapping books into CGC cases and that kind of thing. So one of the things that Go Collect did, because a lot of us that were searching for those flaws, we were using Go Collect because you have all these images there. They added this cert lookup capability here on the left-hand side. And I believe they made that cert lookup free. Like, you can use that regardless of if you have the service or not, because they want, I don't know for sure. I think it was at first. Maybe it still is. I don't know, but I can't tell because I'm using the logged in version, but I think that's something that is available to you regardless. But if you use the cert lookup, see here, we can enter that cert number. So I'm going to copy that cert number in here. And at least what this does is, if there are any sales that they've recorded for this book with that cert number, they'll pull it up here so you can get images. Look at that. There is one sale, and it's that December 1st, 2022 sale that was on eBay. And Go Collect keeps these cached images. Even though you're not going to be able to see that image on eBay, you can see the image here. And see how, like, this cover, it's not like blinding white. Like, this is what you normally see with this book. It's a little bit of yellowing. I mean, this is a book from 1968. It's almost 60 years old now. And these books get this little bit of yellowing on the whites. But the other thing that you can do here is you can look at, is there anything on the cover that's different between this one and that one that's up for sale? And the thing that I usually look for, or you look for right away, is the wrap. Okay, and so you can see here on the left-hand side, you've got this wrap where you've got just a tiny bit of a miswrap, where the black line here is visible on the front of the cover. So if we go to this book here, you can see that it doesn't have that. Let's zoom in a little bit so it's a little more clear. I mean, this book is just, it's so glossy, it looks fake. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things that throw you off on this one. Like, there's a lot of red flags with this, but it does not have that black line right here. And so let's see what the back cover looks like. And you can see how the back cover, it almost has like, it's almost like a slight miswrap to the back, maybe just a little bit. And this book is not moving around in the case like that. The wrap isn't changing while the book is in the case. And so you know that this is not the same book that was sold here. Now, because we have this one here and we can do just an easy direct comparison of the labels, I can show you what I mean. And so if we go, let's go up to the top here and let's look at the back. We'll look at the back first. And so we're going to look at the back cover. And you can see how with the CGC labels, you always have this like overlap of the label with this like bump out in the plastic. Whereas here, there's none of that. It's like, it's perfectly inside. Like the case, like I said, it looks kind of like maybe, did I say CBCS? I don't know if I said CBS or CGC. But with CGC ones, you always have this overlap. It's one of the things that gets really annoying with these QR codes, because a lot of times they'll shift down below that and then you can't scan them. And so if you look at these all the time, you're used to seeing this kind of thing. And so this one, it's too perfect. You know, it's like, it's just too perfect. The labels never fit in there like this that clearly. And just the QR code itself, you can see it just doesn't look the same style. It's like it's not high enough fidelity or something. And then you look at the font, like look at that font for white pages there, completely different from the font here for white pages. Just everything with the fonts and all that is different. And then if we go to the front cover and we look at this 9.6, let's look at the front cover here. You can just tell, like there's something, it's just a little bit different. And it's one of those things where if you look at these enough, you'll catch it. But if you don't, you could see how this could slip by someone. You know, say someone was trying to buy a gift for somebody and there's like, oh, look, you know, a CGC 9.6 that's up on this Goodwill site. I'll you know, get that for my spouse or whatever. And then they end up like, this book is up at like $700 already. You know, someone's getting screwed out of $700. This book is worth literally nothing. Like there's nothing. And so someone, if they do end up going through with buying this, is going to lose a lot of money. But yeah, so you've got just the font there with that grade. You've got, like I said, the way that this little barcode and the cert there, there's more space. You know, that's why I said it looks like a magazine slab. If you've seen magazine slabs, you know that it's like they used almost like a smaller font or something on the magazine slabs. And that's what it feels like. It feels like it's a magazine slabbed label copy, you know, not a perfect copy, but a copy put into a case that's kind of sort of like a CBCS case. But just, you know, I appreciate the person that emailed me with this, because it is good to know that these things are out there. I have no idea if there's only a couple of them. You know, like I said, I know about that Hulk one that was out there. But here's clearly another one, Iron Man Submariner number 1, 9.6. It's got the cert number. And if you went here, you might think it was real because there's no picture. So I'm guessing if somebody's going to fake this, they're going to use ones that have slightly older certs so that they won't have that picture there for somebody to compare against. But luckily, got sites like Go Collect that also provide this information. And if you're lucky enough that that book had sold and they have a record of it, you can compare it. And in this case, we can. We can very easily tell that this is a fake, even outside of the fact that everything else looks wrong on the label and the case. But that's all for today. Hopefully this helps somebody avoid getting scammed and stops this scam sale from happening. It's nothing against Goodwill. Like, they're not going to know. They're just given items and they put them up for sale, and they're not comic experts. But I will send an email to them and let them know that this item is a fake and that they should probably take it down. But hopefully this helps you. If it did, please hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and I will see you on the next one.